Hello, hello, hello cả nhà. Có một mình thôi chứ không có cả nhà ha. Tại vì hôm nay là làm bài tập cá nhân nên là sẽ đọc có một mình thôi. Hello, hello, hello cả nhà. Có một mình thôi chứ không có cả nhà ha. Tại vì hôm nay là làm bài tập cá nhân nên là sẽ đọc có một mình để thôi. Tắt cái đã. Đúng rồi. Có một mình thôi chứ không có cả nhà ha. Tại vì hôm nay là làm bài tập cá nhân nên là sẽ đọc để tắt cái đã. Rồi. Ok, tắt cái âm thanh ở bên YouTube để nó không có vọng qua bên này. Dạ cả nhà. Rồi, thì bây giờ là cái bài tập của thầy đưa ra là mình phải đọc rất là nhanh. Hôm bữa giờ là mọi người cũng luyện rồi đó. Thì bây giờ đọc cá nhân, có người đọc có một mình. Ok, bây giờ là Paula xin phép chia sẻ cái màn hình ha. Rồi, chia sẻ màn hình để Paula đọc nha. Rồi, theo yêu cầu là ít nhất phải cỡ chữ 12. Mình có thể lên 13, 14 hay 15 nhưng mà thôi, đọc từ tốn nhẹ nhàng thôi cả nhà. Rồi, ok. Mình bắt đầu ha. Welcome to Razor Paula. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. And let's go. Phải cho cái này nó cao cao ra. Đó. Ok. Let's go. The formula, lesson 1, the formula of the source of life. Currently, our society is being governed by three perspectives. The first perspective is the scientific perspective, the second is the religious and belief perspective, and the third is the perspective of morality or principles. Regardless of where we live in the world, we are currently being influenced by these perspectives, and one of the laws that influences us greatly is the laws of cause and effect and the laws of causal conditions interactions. If we imagine our current life is our current result, simply the outcome of the seed we sow in the past, there is a formula called the formula of the source of life. What is the formulas? Let's find out. Formula for the desired outcomes. Good cause plus favorable conditions equal desired outcomes. Therefore, if we want to create a desired future, shouldn't we focus on creating the good cause, right? In this present moment, this knowledge, religion and belief, science and morality or principle all lead to one statement. We need to understand the root cause of a person's life through the three perspectives to be considered to have a thorough understanding of the cause. When standing under the scientific perspective, why do I have this result today? And if standing under the religious and belief perspective, why do I have this result today? And if standing under the perspective of morality or principle, why do I have this result today? First, let us thoroughly understand the cause from the scientific perspective to discuss the source of life of a person. Religions and belief, morality or principle, science. Okay, number 2, the formula of the source of life. We take a piece of paper and write out the word result at the bottom and circle it. Then draw an arrow leading to the result. If we have to choose one word that directly represents the results of life today that affects our life results, it could be choice. Experts gave us the message that choice directly affects the result of our lives today. But let's reflect. Reflect. Is it true that the change of choices we make in the past determines the result of our lives today? When we reflect, we often grant ourselves the right to choose the good things in life. However, when it comes unpleasant things, the tendencies of our inner self to attribute the choice to others. If we contemplate even the desirable or undesirable situation in life are owing to our own choices. And we will understand that the source of light originates from ourselves. Therefore, the source of light originated from me, but it's not my fault. Why? Why it's not my fault? Is it because we didn't know any better? If our awareness has been better, we would not have made that choice. At the time, our awareness was only at that level, which led to that choice. Therefore, the choice we make at that exact moment were correct. They lead to a famous saying: if you want to change circumstances, you you change your personality. That explains that a person repeatedly reacts the same circumstances due to their form personality. However, we do not know what kind of personality is suitable for a good outcome. So if we focus on changing personality, it's not yet the root cause. It is because no specific personality trait dictates that a person's life will be good. Researchers that studying wealthy people found that one person become rich in one way and another one in different way. We had different personality. Therefore, any personality can potentially lead to wealth, but any personality can also lead to poverty. Ultimately, people realize that even if they change their personality, they wouldn't know which one will appropriate. Third, focuses on changing personality and not the root cause, and that the result will still repeat. But if you don't change your personality, you don't change the result. Yet, focuses on changing personality doesn't work because it isn't the root cause. The assumption from that a person habits creates their personality. After this realization, we started acting to focus on changing habit. Good habit will lead to a good personality, resulting in good choices. After some time, people discover that changing habit, changing personality, and changing personality, changing the result. However, they realize that habit are not are also not a root cause. They investigated further and found that a person's action determine their habit. So they say that just good action will lead to good habits leads to good personality, and a good personality will lead to a good destiny or good life result. Following this, we tried to manage people's actions, but they discovered that action still repeats the old patterns, and changing a person actions is very difficult. They succeeded it in changing the accent, but focusing on changing accent did not last. Eventually, experts provided us with the insights of a person's thoughts determine their action. They told us that good thought will create good accent, good actions will result in a good habit. Good habits will lead to a good personality, which then leads to the final result of choice. Third, the saying goes, so a thought-driven action, so an action-driven habit, so a habit-driven personality, so a personality-driven destiny. The energy will focus on how people could cultivate a good mindset and good thoughts. However, through deeper research over time, people discover that even they try to control their thoughts, negative thoughts still repeatedly emerge in their lives. Though thoughts was always present in their minds, they began to investigate what determines a person's thoughts. If focuses on thoughts, a person continues to repeat negative thoughts in life, the question is right. What shapes a person's thoughts? High-level mentor and expert pointed out to us that it is their belief that shape their thought. Three, beliefs. Essentially, people always hold a belief about something. This belief can be counter to their desire or aligned with their desire. There's also now a positive or negative belief. For example, someone say, I keep trying to lose weight, but I can't lose any. I'm so discouraged. I keep trying, but it didn't work. It doesn't work. Normally, our thinking assesses that they lack the belief in their ability to live way. However, the deep truth that the person holds the belief that they are very fat and will never be able to become thin. Whatever belief a person holds, their life results will form accordingly. So this is because belief directly affect their choices, and whatever beliefs you hold, that results manifest. If you hold a belief that cannot do something, there's a way that we can't do things. We cannot do things. Human belief does not have a 99% concept. Belief is 100% conviction that you hold a belief. The difference lies on in the directions of that belief, whether it's aligned with or goes against the desire. If humans knew this knowledge, it would be wonderful. So if someone believes I am not beautiful, no matter what I do, I'm not beautiful. The result is that the person believes they are ugly. So nothing they can do make them beautiful. Therefore, some people imitate others to go to the no job for no job, but their inner belief that they are ugly person getting a no job. So which sometimes results in them damaging the no. Conversely, a person who already believe they are beautiful, when they get a procedures, it make them even more beautiful. People who hold the belief that they are happy become happier when they get married. Conversely, if we hold the belief that we are miserable, then whoever we marry, we will remain miserable. There was a story about woman whose husband was launching a book. He was a famous sales development trainer. A reporter, instead of interviewing him, played a tough trick and turned into his White House, asking, "Your husband is a very famous sales development trainer, and he has helped many people change their lives and become happy. But honestly, have he brought happiness to you?" The woman answered immediately, "No, no." Everyone around was alarmed, wondering why she said that. It and if it could damage her husband's reputation. Another reporter burst on, asking, "So, have your husband truly brought you a happy life result?" And she said, "No." Then another person skillfully asking for more open-ended questions. The woman smiled and replied, "How can a man bring happiness to a woman? A woman must have happiness on her own. And only then can a man bring her more happiness. He hasn't brought me happiness. I must be a happy myself person. And he is just the one to who bring me more happiness." Internally, we like to believe that others loves us. We don't believe our husbands or children love us, so we strive to any man their love. So what is the resulting outcome? People do not love us because internally we lack that belief. So we don't see the result externally. Therefore, we need to change our inner belief system to change the result. Here the concept to we need to grasp. The inner belief versus the constant desire. For example, when a woman or a man get married, they expect the marriage to be harmonious and happy. However, deep down, some people in the belief do not include harmonious or and happy marriage. So the conscious design is for harmonious and happy marriage. But if the inner belief contradicts this desire, the result is that the inner belief always triumph over the conscious desire. If an inner belief and the conscious desires are unified, life will become wonderful. The conscious desire usually aim for good things. For example, a happy marriage, success in work, and good relationship with people. Almost everyone wishes for positive outcomes. If the conscious desires is unified with the inner belief, human life is wonderful. Human structure at this point between thoughts and belief, this is a crucial gateway for of the brain's mindsets and the person's inner subconscious, which often conflict with each other. Ultimately, the inner self win. Humans try to use their conscious mind to change the inner self, and science often favor this approach. If science were entirely correct, a lot of people who follow science would all be wonderful. However, the science perspective shows us that our inner beliefs are what determines our results. Therefore, we must change the belief system to change results. Merely thinking about it's externally will not change the result. However, belief is not the root cause. So changing the belief doesn't surface. We don't know why we trust a certain person. So we write the next question. What determines a person believe? That is a person mental image or the seed of mental image. It determines their belief. The seed of mental images in our mind determine our beliefs, which determines the result of our life. 4. Mental limits. Let's coordinate on the small exercise. Choose 2 person closest to us, 2 people we feel more familiar with. Then without thinking, write the name vertically on both sides. Then instantly choose five words that evoke the mental image of our feeling and emotion about that person. You can stop and do this exercise here and then continue reading. I continue reading because we have that seed of the mental image in our head is a projected result of our life externally. We see our father as handsome, funny, and gentle, but sometimes other people might see him and not see him with gentleness. He might see him as strict, yet we see him as gentle. In our eye, even when he sleeps, we might perceive him in delusions. Why? We assume he must be tired when he is sleeping. But if the seeds of mental image we hold about our father laziness, then even when he working, we may say, look at that lazy attitude. The result of our external life are protected from the seed of mental limited in our mind. Okay, 5. The story of the pen. Let us borrow the story from because Michael wrote. Imagine we are holding an object we frequently use, perhaps a pen or writing tool. Now consider another creature, a very intelligent animal living in our house, a puppy. When we see it, we call it a pen or writing instruments because we use it to write. But when the puppy encounter this object, it chew on it. The puppy actions of chewing mechanism think the puppy perceives objects, this objects as a bone or a toy, which is why it chew. If the puppy perceives it is a pen, in which you is to write. This means we see the objects and we call it a pens because we visualize using it to write. What about a puppy? It proceeds to gnaw and chew on it. It perceives as a toys or bone. Who is right? In our opinion, the puppy perceives it as a bone or toys, and we perceive it as a pen or writing instrument. Both are correct. Both are correct. Now, let's put that object in the room. I want to find the pen. Oh, it's not pen, but reason. So no puppy and no one is here. So what is that? It's nothing at all. So but if we it's a because it's not the perceiving it. No subject correcting it. No subject feeling it at that moment is nothing. Being nothing does not mean it doesn't exist. It is it. It is it. It is it. It is it. All things have the nature of emptiness. All things have the nature of emptiness, potentiality. It is nothing when there is no subject perceiving it. So, what is the create the person consciousness and subject that perceiving it? Now we step in and we look at the object, and at that moment it's a pen, but the dog is stopping. Step in, it's perceiving it a toy or bone. So if we and the puppy step at the same time, for us it's a pen, and for the puppy it's a bone. So a specific question arises. What determines the nature of that object? It is determined by the external nature of fitness or its reflect from within us to the outside. We find that the nature of this object is determined what's inside within us by the seed of mental image in our mind that dictates that object is the seed of mental image which is in our project outwardly manifest that reality. Earlier, we said about father and gentle person. Is it the father needed gentle or no anyone? But because we have that mental image inside, it projects outward. Our father be gentle, diligent, or complaining is based on our recognition of him. It is because we hold those seeds of mental images about our father that we perceive him that way. The mental images within a person determine the result and reflect their external reality. Therefore, the world they perceive is based on mental images they hold. So, if we want to change the external world, or in another word, if we want to change our destiny according to the scientific possibility, changing the mental image, change your destiny. Changing the mental image, change your destiny. Changing the mental image, change your destiny. The tendencies of our inner psychological life is very interesting. The longer people live together, if a person does not nurtures and enlarge the positive mental images they hold about their loved one, the negative images will manifest. This is a miraculous phenomenon of the principle of the light and darkness. The principle of the light states that the closer we live to someone, if we don't enlarge the positive images we have of them, by default, the unpleasant images will enlarge in our mind. That is why we first met someone with general hold positive mental images of each other, but the longer we live together, we fail to enlarge the positive images of other person, and the unpleasant image will manifest. Thus, undesirable reality often occurs in social relations within the thought like my neighbor wife is better, my neighbor child is better than mine, someone else husband is better, my husband not good, other people why are beautiful, other beautiful why are good. Why? Because we only meet the neighbor husband and wife briefly, and we see the beautiful image, but our own husband and wife is around all the time. And because we don't know how to enlarge the positive image, we see the poor images. We only need to change the image toward the direction we design to orient to orient our image toward what we want. If we hold good and beautiful image the we belief system automatically change. The result will change in instant. Therefore, a person can remain beautiful images of loved one, especially positive images of people. We change entirely five conditions we gotta be built. Maintain a good image of our health, maintain good our social relationship, maintain good image of ourselves and our inner self, maintaining a good image of our finances, changing the mental limit, changes destiny. We only need to have one simple realization. According to the scientific perspective, the source of light originates from the mental images in our mind. We only need to remember one thing. The seeds of mental images in our mind determine the result of our life today. These lead to a profound science if one fully grasps it. 7. Every mother should begin with the results. Every mother should begin with the result. Because the simplest way to achieve everything is about to do is to start from the result. For example, why is it so difficult for a person married to be happy? Because they do not start the marriage by defining the result of the marriage. The results we have are often based on observing those around us. Our mind holds the image of the past marriage result. So when we start, we already have that result. All human endeavors start the result. The results in the person mind, the mental image in person mind is the result of external reality. When a destination is seen, there is no need to rush. If the destination is unseen, why rush? When we start with the result, our journey automatically change. Is it like knowing where we're going? No matter the means of transport, we can get there. But if we don't know where our destination is, even if we equip with the most modern facility, we cannot reach the destination. Third, every matter should begin with the result. The result is formed from the mental images in our mind. Therefore, simply changing the mental images, the mental image changes destiny. When the image is clear, our life becomes clearer. Hence, every matter begins with the result. So, why we conclude that, according to the scientific possibility at the moment, the seeds of mental images in our mind determine the result of our lives. Now, the question is raised. What determines the mental images in our mind? This is because those images appear constantly in our heads. What we hear, see, say, and know determines the mental images in our mind. It is precisely that what we hear, what we say, what we say, what we see, what we say, what we know that determine our mental limits. And what we are struggling that the most often is the knowing that detrimental to the future. Totally the knowing regarding marriage is highly detrimental to the mental limits we hold. Or the mental are negative. The knowing regarding the child's education given us images that are not very positive. The knowing about life, the knowing about people, given us disadvantages, images of people. The knowing we have career, business in life, making things increasable are dangerous, especially our knowing about health. This knowing have influenced us from birth to now, but because according to a scientific perspective, we cannot say about time before birth. So from the moment we were born till now, what we know, what we see, what we say, and what we hear have fluent our mental limited. If we live in a tribe, a village, or a lineage where the average lifespan of people between 120 and 160 years, would we feel old and decrepit if we were 60 years old, or would we feel like we are in the early youth? What we know about health, what we hear about health, what we see about health, what we say about health is different from those who live in the village or lineage where the average lifespan is 60 or 70 years. In the later case, people around 60 years old are almost winding down. If we were 60, then we wouldn't feel like we're about to go close to death. If we live in the lineage where the average monthly outcome of the adult is around $1 million, rather than 24 billion dong, how would we feel today if our income were 200 million dong? How would we feel? So what do we see, what do we hear, see, say, and know, determine our mental limited. But if the entire lineage struggle just to afford food and the highest income, and one have 20 million or 30 million dong, how would you feel with an income of 200 million dong? Wonderful, right? If only one star to appear in the sky, in the future, a constellation of stars will appear. Therefore, in society, when someone achieves something wonderful and excels, this will lead to a change of star emergence. What people hear, see, say, and know will gradually change accordingly, and we will change the image of society. At the time, achieving peace and choice is simply than being angry. In the future, someone will say that comprehensive wealth is simply than poverty. Gradually, what people hear, see, say, and know will change, and society will undergo a massive shift. If only a few people thoroughly understand life, society will also understand life. Because what we heard, seen, spoken, and known, and constantly changing. There is a Japanese story about researchers study about behavior of very intelligent monkeys. The monkeys love sweet potatoes, so scientists gave them sweet potatoes, but first buried them in sand and observed their reaction. The monkeys liked them, but found the sand unpleasant. Yet they still have to eat. One beautiful day, a female monkey accidentally dropped her sweet potato into the water. She picked it up and ate it, find it delicious. From then on, she knew how to wash potato before eating. She taught her father, mother, and sibling, and gradually her family taught the surrounding family. Scientists marked every monkey that learned the washing method. When a one hundredth monkeys were reached, something surprising happened. That monkey have not been in contact with any other monkey and have never been taught how to wash a potato, but when given the potato, it spontaneously manufactures water and washes. Observing that all monkey from 100 and first onwards, they gradually all know how to do it. The phenomenon even spread to other islands, despite the geographical distance where monkey could not possibly travel between islands. Yet the monkey there also knew how to wash a potato. A person's life and society will continually transform when we change what we hear, see, say, know, and change the mental limits in our future. This alignment or condition will help other change in the future as well. Therefore, when we live in a family, we are determined to transform ourselves first over time. As we mental limit changes regarding ourselves and those around us, the family automatically changes to. Third, therefore, there's no need to seek change in others, but focus on changing ourselves. This means changing our mental images about ourselves and our loved ones. It means changing our know about ourselves and know about humanity and know about the laws of cause, condition, and the result. This is how we change the image. And subsequently, we change what we say. The formula of changing the image is control what we hear and see, say change what we say and know, then we change destiny. First we change the knowing, then change the saying, and control the hearing and seeing. Gradually changing the mental image changes destiny. Thank you. 28 phút, 29 phút. À, rồi, dạ. Tắt cái xe ở đây. Dạ, tắt cái like.